cracking the code, her unspoken invitation. You've probably been there before, sitting across from a woman, sharing laughs, trading stories, feeling that spark, but still unsure. Is she just being friendlier? Is she inviting something more? See, here's the thing most men never learn. When a woman is attracted to you, deeply, physically, undeniably, she often won't say it out loud, not directly. Instead, she speaks in code. And the moment you miss that code, you lose an opportunity you might never get back. It's not because she's playing games. It's because she's protecting something. Her image, her boundaries, her sense of control. Society tells her not to be too forward, so she speaks in subtleties. She smiles with layers. Her words dance around the truth, never stepping fully into it. Unless you know how to read between the lines. And if you don't, well, you walk away thinking, God, it was just a nice evening. Meanwhile, she goes home wondering why you didn't do anything when she gave you every chance. Now here's the twist. Women do say what they want. They just don't say it the way you expect. They won't say, I want to sleep with you, but they will say, you are trouble, or you smell great, or even, we're not having sex tonight. Sound confusing? It's not. Once you learn the code, in this video, we're going to decode that language. I'll walk you through 9 phrases that seem casual or playful on the surface, but underneath, they're packed with desire. Subtle clues she drops when she wants to be close, but doesn't want to see me see. Once you learn how to recognize them, you'll start hearing these phrases in moments you never noticed before. You'll understand her better, respond with more confidence, and most importantly, you won't miss the moment again. Let's begin. The invisible yes. Why you keep missing her signals. Here's the truth most men never get taught. Women rarely, if ever, say what they actually mean, especially when it comes to desire. Not because they're manipulative, not because they're trying to confuse you, but because they've been conditioned to hide it. Think about it. From a young age, women are told not to be easy, not to give in too fast, not to want it more than the man. Meanwhile, men are told to be confident, to make the move, to read the room. But what happens when the room is filled with silence and indirect words? She's sitting across from you, smiling. Her body leans in. Her voice softens. And then she says something like, you are so bad. I never do this. And you pause, unsure. Is she being playful? Or is that her version of a green light? The problem is this. Most men are waiting for a yes that sounds like a yes. But women, especially when it comes to intimacy, don't give you a yes in plain words. They give you a yes through subtext, through energy, through phrases that feel safe on the surface, but loaded underneath. And when you don't pick up on that language, she notices. Maybe she feels rejected. Maybe she thinks you're not confident. Or worse, maybe she assumes you're not even interested. Either way, the connection dies right there. Not because you said the wrong thing, but because you didn't say anything at all. It's not your fault. No one taught you how to hear the unspoken yes. But that's what separates the man who connects deeply from the one who always feels like he's missing something. So the question becomes, what is she really saying when she's not saying it? And the answer begins with the first phrase. The agony of almost. Moments lost to hesitation. Imagine this. You are on a date. The energy feels good. She's laughing more than usual. She touches your arm when she talks. The conversation flows. Time slips by unnoticed. And just before you're about to call it a night, she looks at you. A little slower, a little softer, and says, it's getting late, but I'm having so much fun. You freeze for half a second. You smile, politely. Maybe you even say something like, yeah, it's been great, and then walk her to her car. She hugs you, lingers for a moment, then leaves. That night, you lie in bed, replaying everything. Her eyes, that laugh, the way she leaned in closer. That one comment that didn't feel random at all. And suddenly, it hits you. She wanted more. She gave you the green light, but you didn't take it. What hurts isn't just that you missed a chance to be with someone you liked. The sting is the unknown number of similar moments missed. Silent invitations you never heard. Open doors you never walked through. And here's the thing, she noticed. She noticed that pause in your reaction. She felt your hesitation. And in her mind, she began rewriting the story. Maybe he's not into me. Maybe I came on too strong. Maybe I was wrong. The connection begins to fade, not because you did something wrong, but because you didn't respond when the moment asked you to. And now, something has shifted. She becomes more reserved next time, less open, less playful, because she's unsure now. And so are you. This is the quiet pain that most men never talk about. Not the pain of rejection, but the pain of regret. The feeling of almost knowing what she meant, almost acting, almost connecting, but never quite making it there. And when this happens enough times, it doesn't just affect how you see her. It affects how you see yourself. You start doubting your instincts, second-guessing every signal. You begin believing that women are impossible to understand, or worse, that they're never really interested in you. And that belief becomes a wall, one that keeps real intimacy locked on the other side. But what if that wall wasn't built by her? What if it was built by confusion? By hesitation? By not knowing what to look for? Here's the truth. Women rarely say yes in the way you expect, but they do say yes in whispers, in phrases that seem innocent but are anything but. And once you learn to hear them, you won't just avoid missing out. You'll start experiencing connection at a completely different level, because the moment you stop waiting for permission is the moment she starts feeling truly understood. So let's pull back the curtain and decode the words she uses when she wants to say yes without having to say it. 9 secret phrases that speak volumes. 1. Your trouble. When a woman looks at you, tilts her head slightly, maybe with a sly grin, and says, "Your trouble," she's not warning you. She's inviting you. This isn't an insult. It's not even real concern. It's a signal, a masked confession. What she's really saying is, there's something about you that makes me feel alive, a little reckless, and I'm not sure I can resist it. That word trouble means you've sparked something inside her. Maybe it's your confidence, the way you carry yourself, the way you look at her like you know something she's not saying. Whatever it is, it's stirring emotions that don't feel entirely safe, but definitely feel exciting. Now, here's where most men misstep. They either laugh it off awkwardly, or they take it literally and start trying to tone themselves down. Don't. That kills the moment. Because what she's really doing is testing you. She wants to see how you hold your frame when she flirts in disguise. The best response? Lean in ever so slightly and smile not arrogantly, but knowingly. Say something like, "Only the good kind of trouble." Or if you're feeling playful, depends how you handle it. You're matching her energy, keeping the tension alive without breaking the spell. Because the truth is, she's already imagined what it would be like to let go with you. And that phrase, "your trouble," is her way of easing herself into that fantasy without having to admit it outright. It gives her room to stay in control while still expressing interest. And it gives you a choice. Ignore the opening, or step through it with calm, grounded awareness. So the next time she calls you trouble, don't downplay it. Don't explain yourself. Just smile. Because in her world, a little trouble is exactly what she's looking for. 2. You smell great. When a woman says, "You smell great," it may seem like a harmless compliment. Simple, casual, but don't be fooled. It's anything but random. Scent is one of the most primal, emotional senses we have. It bypasses logic and speaks directly to memory, emotion, and desire. And women, far more than most men realize, are extremely tuned into it. A man's scent can stir something deep, subconscious, and deeply physical. So when she leans in closer than necessary, inhales just a little too long and says, "You smell amazing," it's not just an observation, it's a confession. She's letting you know that being near you feels good, intimate, safe, but also electric. Now here's what most men miss. She didn't have to say that. She chose to. It's her way of closing the space between you, even if just for a moment. It's her subtle permission slip. I want to be closer to you, and I'm using scent as my excuse. What she's really doing is creating a moment, something shared, personal, even sensual, but wrapped in a compliment that feels socially safe. This is how desire often speaks, softly, with plausible deniability. The way you respond matters. Don't brush it off with a quick thanks and change the subject. That's like slamming the door she just opened. Instead, hold the eye contact. Let the moment breathe. Then respond with something grounded and warm. "I'm glad you like it." Or if you want to tease her, try, careful. That's how addiction starts. You're not just reacting, you're playing, dancing in the subtext. Because what she's testing isn't your cologne. It's your confidence. Can you receive her attraction without needing to overcompensate or shrink? And once you pass that test, she'll even more drawn in. Because now, you're not just a man who smells good. You're a man who knows what it means when a woman tells him so. 3. I don't usually do this, but. When she says, "I don't usually do this, but," stop, pay attention. Because you've just stepped into a moment that means far more than it sounds. This phrase is a bridge, a psychological way for her to cross into new territory while protecting how she sees herself. It's not about what she's doing. It's about what she's allowing herself to do. She may be texting you late at night. She may be agreeing to come over. She may be touching your arm longer than usual. But before she does it, she says, "I don't usually do this." Why? Because she wants you to know this isn't her norm. She's not someone who gives herself away easily, and that's powerful. What she's really saying is, "You're different. I trust you. I'm breaking my own rule. For you." This phrase is wrapped in vulnerability. It's a peek behind the curtain. It tells you she's nervous about stepping forward, but even more afraid of what it means if she doesn't. She's torn between two forces, the desire to stay in control and the desire to give in. So how do you respond? Not with jokes, not with sarcasm, and definitely not with judgment. You don't want to say, "Sure, I bet you say that all the time." That breaks the spell. Instead, create space for her honesty. Say something like, "You don't have to explain. I'm just glad you're here." Or simply nod with presence. Let her know you understand what this moment costs her. Because the truth is, every woman has her own inner rule book. And when she tells you she's breaking one, she's not asking for permission. She's looking for reassurance that she won't regret it, that you won't use it against her, that you're the kind of man who knows how rare that sentence really is. So next time you hear, "I don't usually do this," recognize it for what it is, not a warning, but a whisper of trust. 4. It's getting late, but this is so much fun. At first glance, it sounds innocent, polite, almost like she's reminding herself it's time to leave. It's getting late, but this is so much fun. Simple, right? But what she's really doing is watching what you'll do next. This phrase is what we call a soft open invitation. On the surface, It sounds like she's acknowledging the time. But beneath that, she's giving you a chance, a window, a subtle way of saying, I don't want this to end just yet. Do you? Let's break it down. If she truly wanted to leave, she would have said, it's getting late, I should go. Clear, firm, closed. But instead, she leaves the door half open with the word but. That but is everything. That's her hesitation. That's her unspoken hope. In that moment, she's signaling interest, but she's not going to. Be the one to suggest more. Why? Because she doesn't want to look too eager. She's giving you the space to lead. Not to pressure, not to push, but to read the moment and offer something just a little more. Now here's the mistake many men make. They either ignore the cue entirely or they overdo it. One lets the moment die. The other suffocates it. The right move is subtle. Maybe you say, I know, nights like this shouldn't end so fast. Or, what if we made it a little longer? And then, watch how she responds. If her eyes stay soft, if her body language stays open, she's inviting that next step. Remember, she's already enjoying herself. She's already in that state of openness. All she wants now is for you to notice, to catch the signal and respond not with force, but with presence. This isn't about trying to make something happen. It's about allowing what's already there to continue. Because when she says, it's getting late, what she often means is, I don't want to go unless I have to. And if you can hear that, you'll never lose that moment again. 5. Do you live close by? It's a simple question. Just a few words. Do you live close by? But in the right context, when the hour is late, when her eyes linger, when the air between you feels thick with something unsaid, that question means more than it shows. She's not asking for your zip code. She's not interested in your commute. What she's really saying is this: would it be easy if I didn't go home tonight? See, this question is her way of checking the logistics without having to make the move herself. She doesn't want to say, can I come over? Because that feels too direct, too exposed. She doesn't want to look like she's chasing the moment. She wants to feel like she's responding to it. So instead, she gives you the setup. She asks if you live close by, not to make small talk, but to measure the distance between where you are and what could happen next. And that's where your awareness matters most. Because if you respond too casually, yeah, like 20 minutes away, and then move on to a new topic, you've missed it. The moment deflates. Not because you said something wrong, but because you didn't stay in the energy she opened. What should you do? Slow down. Feel the space. Then respond with something like, close enough. If we didn't want the night to end here, or even gently ask back, why do you ask? With a knowing look that gives her permission to be playful, to hint, to lean in without risk. Because ultimately, she's not testing your address. She's testing your intuition. She wants to know, can you read her? Can you catch what she's really saying beneath the question? Most men answer the words. Few respond to the message. But once you learn to hear the message, those 4 little words become something much bigger. An invitation, a possibility, a turning point. Because when she asks, do you live close by? What she's really asking is, can this become more than just tonight? 6. Do you really think I'm that innocent? When a woman looks at you, maybe with a raised eyebrow, a playful smirk, and says, do you really think I'm that innocent? You've just entered a new layer of the game. This is not a question. It's a challenge, a soft, seductive dare. She's not really asking what you believe. She's revealing a side of herself she normally keeps hidden and testing whether you're bold enough to see it. That word innocent carries weight. By default, society tells her to be composed, pure, restrained. But desire doesn't live in those places. Desire wants to break the image. And when she says this line, she's pushing you to look past the surface. She wants you to see her as more than sweet. She wants you to recognize that she knows exactly what she's doing, and maybe, just maybe, she's thinking things she's not ready to say out loud. What's key here is your response. Some men panic and backpedal. No, I didn't mean it like that. Others try to flirt back too hard, making it feel cheap. Both reactions kill the tension. The right response? Hold the moment. Smile slowly. Let your eyes do most of the talking. Then say something like, innocent wouldn't be the word I'd use. Or even better, I think you enjoy surprising people. What you're doing is simple. You're letting her know you see her, without forcing her to fully reveal herself. You're saying, I get it. I'm not judging you. And I like it. That's rare. And it's magnetic. Because deep down, every woman wants to feel free to express all sides of herself. The soft, the wild, the curious. But she only do it with someone who doesn't flinch. Someone who doesn't reduce her to labels. So when she says, do you really think I'm that innocent? She's offering you a glimpse behind the curtain. The question is, can you hold that look and not blink? 7. You're different. There's something deceptively simple about the phrase, you're different. It doesn't sound seductive. It's not overtly flirty. But don't let its softness fool you. This is one of the most emotionally loaded things a woman can say to a man she's drawn to. When she says, you're different, she's not just making an observation. She's letting you know that you've stepped outside the box, that you're no longer being compared to most men, that you've reached a space where her walls start to lower, even if just a little. Because here's the truth. Most women are used to patterns, the same pickup lines, the same conversations, the same predictable energy. So when you show up with presence, with calm confidence, when you listen without trying to impress, when you make her feel seen rather than pursued, something shifts. She feels safe, curious, awake, and that's when it slips out. You're different. Now, you might be tempted to brush it off or make a joke. Different good or different weird? Don't. That kills the weight of what she just offered. Instead, pause. Let the words settle. Look at her, really look, and say something like, I'm glad you feel that. Or even gently ask, different how? Not to fish for praise, but to show that you heard her, that you respect the depth behind those two words. Because in that moment, she's trying to tell you, with you, I feel something I don't usually feel. And that something might be exactly what gives her permission to open up more, emotionally, physically, fully. So remember, when she says, you're different, she's not just making a comment. She's expressing trust, interest, and attraction without having to name it directly. It's her way of marking you in her mind. And if you know how to receive that moment without rushing it, you'll stay in her mind a lot longer than just one night. 8. So, what now? When she looks at you, maybe with a half smile, maybe after a long pause, and says, Sue, what now? It's more than just a question. It's an emotional crossroads. Because that moment doesn't come out of nowhere. It comes after energy has built up, after flirtation has turned into tension, after laughter has softened into intimacy. And now, she's reached a point where she won't go further unless you lead it there. What now isn't about plans. It's not about whether you go get dessert or call it a night. It's a subtle invitation for you to decide the tone, the pace, the direction, and yes, possibly the depth of what happens next. But here's the twist. She won't say it directly. She's not going to tell you what she wants. That's not her role in this moment. What she will do is open the space. and wait to see what kind of man fills it. This is where many guys freeze. They feel the weight of expectation and either deflect, I don't know, up to you, or overstep. Want to come back to my place? And both options miss the mark. Why? Because what she's really testing is your ability to stay grounded in uncertainty, to sense the energy without forcing it. The best response? Stay calm, smile, let the silence stretch just a little, then say something like, well, that depends what you're in the mood for. Or even better, now's when we stop overthinking and just go with what feels right. You're not rushing. You're not retreating. You're guiding. That's what she's looking for. Because what now is often her final signal. It's her way of saying, I've given all the hints. I've shown you I'm here. Now let's see if you can lead this moment with clarity. And if you do, that's when everything changes. The energy shifts. The night deepens. And she no longer has to speak in code because you've already heard everything she needed you to hear. 9. We're not having sex tonight. At first glance, it sounds like a hard stop, a firm boundary, a full stop sentence. We're not having sex tonight. But if you listen closer and you watch how she says it, when she says it, and what happens after something becomes very clear. This phrase isn't always about denial. It's often about disclaimer. See, when a woman says this, she's not always shutting the door. Sometimes she's cracking it open, but on her terms. Let's break it down. She may be feeling the chemistry. The connection is there. Maybe you're alone. The music's low. The lights are soft. It's getting late. She senses where things might go. And suddenly, she needs to say something that protects her image, both to you and to herself. So she says it. We're not having sex tonight. But if she really meant that in a firm, final way, she wouldn't be in this moment to begin with. She wouldn't be this close, this open, this physically and emotionally available. What she's really doing is setting the boundary in advance so that if things do go further, it wasn't because she planned it. It was because the moment took over. That narrative protects her from shame, judgment, or feeling like she gave in too easily. Now, how should you respond? With calm, with grace, with presence. You don't challenge it. You don't joke about it. You simply say, of course, and mean it. Then change nothing. Don't get colder. Don't pull away. Don't suddenly act disappointed. Why? Because your response tells her everything she needs to know. It says, I'm not here to pressure you. I'm here because I enjoy you. And often, that's exactly the reassurance she needs to let her guard down. Because the moment a woman feels safe, not manipulated, not judged, but seen and respected, that's when connection deepens. And sometimes, that connection becomes physical. Not because you pushed, but because you didn't have to. So the next time she says, we're not having sex tonight, smile gently. Because what she really might be saying is, I want to trust that you'll understand what I can't say out loud. From subtext to connection, unlocking true intimacy. Now you see it. What was once just casual small talk is often a carefully wrapped message, a soft signal, a whisper beneath the noise. Women don't say yes the way you expect. They say it through tone, through timing, through words that give them space to feel safe, to be desired without giving everything away. And when you learn to hear them, not just with your ears, but with your attention, you become different. You stop second-guessing. You stop missing moments. You begin to trust the rhythm between two people instead of trying to control it. But more importantly, she begins to trust you. Because women don't open up to the loudest guy in the room or the one who pushes. They open up to the man who listens differently, who notices what goes unsaid, who doesn't need to be told twice because once is enough. So next time you hear one of these phrases, pause. Feel it. Ask yourself not just what she said, but why she said it, when she said it, and how she looked at you when she did. Because sometimes the boldest invitation is the one wrapped in restraint. And before we end, here's a question worth carrying with you. What if the last time you thought she wasn't ready, she was just waiting for you to understand?